So, ma'am, shall I do the honors?
Yes, I think we must first call Reena ma'am because due to technical glitch, she could not be here. And then we will be calling our next speaker, Chandran Ram. He is also here. So
Lovely.
let's start with Reena ma'am. Let me introduce her.
Definitely. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much. If we talk about Reena Mathu, she is a communicator and a work life balance trainer, an educator, and a leader who likes to set the trends. Reena believes in doing is knowing, channelizing thoughts to actions. Beautiful, Reena ma'am. Wonderful. Apart from above, she also conducts sessions in medical insurance. Her whole journey till now has been soaked in life experiences of myriad kinds, which have been extremely challenging at times. She is a marketing professional with 20 years of experience and a certified master trainer from Indian Academy of Training and Development. And her motto in life, living in the moment. I agree with you, ma'am. And over to you for all the experience you're going to share with all the audience and rich experience. Over to you.
Thank you, Ina ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you for such lovely, wonderful introductions. I think I have to be grateful to you for making me believe also in so many of these aspects that you have read out. I had almost, these had almost gone out of my mind. But nevertheless, here we are. So, good evening, audience. Hello to everyone from my side. And I welcome you all to have given your valuable time here and to be here on this platform to listen to me, to listen to what I have to say this evening. So just give me some time so I can start my screen share. So before I start my session, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Kushal Jain of Amplify to have given me this opportunity to share my ideas with you all this evening about a topic that is very close to my heart, communication, and that too business communication. So yes, friends, we are going through an unprecedented time at this point of time. Just about a year and a half back, we have seen that a very virulent and a very infectious kind of a virus, COVID-19, had struck humanity. But as they say, desperate times call for desperate measures. And so we saw that governments all over the countries, all over the world, decided to impose lockdown, but in phased manner under the guidance of WHO. And this was what was the effect of that lockdown. The whole world came to a standstill. Nothing moved. Industries shut their shutters down. Establishments closed down. There were firms that went bankrupt. People lost their jobs. And while all this was happening, this virus was increasingly having a grip on the humanity and not letting it do what it's best wanting to do, that is indulging in economic activities for its survival. Yes, my dear friends, we came down to the brass tacks, survival. And here, after the WHO imposed the lockdown, and it also declared hand hygiene and social distancing norms, with all those aspects, people realized that they had to be confined to four walls and start working and doing whatever they were supposed to be doing within those four walls in isolation. While all this was happening, something else was unfolding, a new kind of a work style ethic that was unfolding in such kind of situations. While people stayed at home, companies realized that they needed to get their acts done faster so as to streamline their activities, get on to the economic aspects, get on with the economic activities. And so work from home became a new norm for everyone. Friends, in such a kind of a situation, the most important aspect that gets impacted is communication. Because if you're not able to communicate with others because of such a breakdown in communication, you're not able to receive help and you're not able to give help to others. As was rightly said by George Bernard Shaw, the single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place. You feel that you have said, you have informed the person, but then has it really been received in the manner that it was supposed to have been received in the first place? So there is always a question mark. Communication in times of disruption. Now, in such a scenario, I have come upon these two aspects of communication in an organization. First is communication that happens within the organization. That means what messages, what information are passed on from the management, the top management to the staff below. And likewise, communication flow going from the staff below to the management upwards. That is one kind of communication that happens. The second is communication with the external agents, that is the clients, customers, and associates of the organization. So we'll see in the forthcoming slides how communication skills in both these aspects can be geared up, can be improved to suit the new normal. So strategies for improving management communication skills. That is the first aspect that we will see. What happens in such a scenario is when people are isolated from each other and working all by themselves within the confines of their four walls, there is a need to communicate more frequently. While it was during the offline kind of a situation in the normal circumstances, if you were communicating with your staff or with your employees once in a week or once in 2 weeks, so now there needs to be a high frequency in communication. Maybe you can escalate it to twice a week or 3 times a week. Because what happens, we need to keep it in mind, at the back of our mind, that especially for new joinees in the organization, there is a tendency to feel isolated, to feel left out of the organization, to feel disenchanted with it, and to get that feeling that you are not belonging to this, that you don't belong to this organization, and that you're not able to contribute to the work ethics or to the goals of meeting the goals of or the objectives of the organization. And another aspect that the supervisors or the managers need to keep in mind while communicating is to keep it very short, crisp, to the point, and clear, so that there is no room for any ambiguity or doubts or issues coming up in their staff or in their employees' mind while receiving that communication. Another aspect which has become very rampant and very, very, highly promotable is to use the virtual communication or virtual tools of communication, like using video conferencing tools like Zoom, which has become highly popular and is being widely used, and Google Groups. And there is another aspect that has come up now, more parallelly on the lines of WhatsApp, is the Slack kind of a communication tool. So in Slack, staff can chat with each other, they can download documents, they can upload documents, they can in fact even share their screens while they are working on a similar project or the same project. Second, that the supervisors need to keep in mind is to make themselves easily available and accessible to their staff or to their employees or subordinates whenever it is required of them. Because it is to be kept in mind that the situation is absolutely different now. The employees need to be felt that they are responsible for their work ethics or work responsibilities or their goals that have been assigned to them. So at any given point of time, the supervisors need to be available to them to solve any of their concerns or address their issues or address their problems. Once the work responsibilities or the goals of the employees or the staff have been given to them, it needs to be aligned with the major objective of the organization or goals. And the staff needs to be told again and again that they play an important part, that their responsibilities, their duties are as important to them as that of the management above. So this will keep them focused to the larger picture of the organization. And it needs to be pointed out to them again and again that their careers are intertwined with that of the goals and objectives and the growth of the organization. So they are important for the organization. This is a part of the empowerment of employees. Now let us see which are the departments that normally interface with the clients. In any organization, there will be 3 different departments that have an interaction or a direct interaction with the clients or customers. The first and the foremost is the front office department. And front office, as it rightly is mentioned, is the face of any organization. The second is the process department. The third is the grievance cell. Now, let us see which are the communication skills that need to be inculcated in the front office executives. Obviously, they need to be very, very good in communication, English, Hindi, and any local language. We are talking about pan-India over here. So a local language is definitely a must. And they need to have good literacy skills, be tech savvy, mobiles. They should be able to use mobiles easily. They should be having email etiquettes, mobile etiquettes, and they also need to be good in interdepartmental skills, which means that they need to know who are the people in the concerned departments who can handle various different kinds of aspects of a client or a customer, whosoever calls them at any given point of time, can be then put on to such kind of departmental heads who can solve their concerns and find out solutions. They should definitely be very friendly in their talk. And another aspect, the very important aspect of theirs, is to have empathy. Because friends, right now at this particular juncture, empathy is one of the soft skills that is very much required by anybody in any office or in any organization. So you should be able to have an empathetic tone in your voice when you are speaking with your client or a customer over the phone. You should be able to listen to them properly, should understand what the issue is, Second, if need be, they should in fact even be able to convert an opportunity into a sale. So the selling skills need to be put in place for them. They need to have good knowledge about their products which the organization is selling. Then obviously there is IVR facility which is there in their toll-free number. Now let's see about the process industry staff. What is the communication skills required for them? Although they do not come very often directly in touch with the clients, but it can be that a situation may arise where they need to communicate. So then they need to be reasonably able to communicate, should be email, should have email etiquettes and should have mobile etiquettes also, should know how to draft professional mails, have a humble tone to voice, which is definitely important. Capable of understanding the concerns of the client, and if need be, should even interact with them. Now let's come to what the grievance cell department of any organization does. Now, this is one of the most important departments of the organization, and management nowadays give more importance to them in the sense of empowering them more. So the skills required are listening skills. They have to have extra sensory listening skills to be able to decipher what the customer or the client is wanting to tell them. Have a humble tone to voice, that goes without saying. Be able to comprehend and speak all these languages, and a local language is definitely a plus point. Another very important aspect of a grievance department is to understand the cues from the tone of the customer's voice. It can happen that while you are speaking, while the customer is on the phone with you, the issues or the concerns of the client can be deciphered very well if you are very, very sensitive to these cues that come out from the customer, and quickly take upon that, probe the customer deeper, and try and solve their queries. Obviously, they should be well versed in online communication tools, that goes without saying. And at the time when the sale is done with a client or a customer, an escalation chart can also be given to the associates or the customers. So at any given point of time, if a client calls them up and tells them that he or she has this issue with the product, so that can get solved. But just in case, if at the first level the query does not get addressed to, it does not get, the problem does not get resolved, so it can escalate to the next higher level. That means a supervisory level or a managerial level. Say supposing even at that level also it does not get resolved, then they can escalate it to the next higher up. That means a GM level person or a VP person, level person. And obviously at that level, when the query reaches, definitely there is solution provided. What I want to say over here is, if we see a situation in a hospital too, whereby nowadays, in fact, in these circumstances, most doctors give online consultation. The first consultation is of course telephonic, and if the doctor feels that he still wants to feel the symptoms, see the symptoms of the patient, then he can have an online Zoom meeting with the patient one-on-one. So this is how people, this is how industries, this is how professionals are trying to gear up by using these online tools and to get on with their work. As we have seen with the three departments, with the synergies that they can have, with their collaboration and cooperation, they are working towards one main objective of the organization, that is to keep their customers happy, keep their customers satisfied. So they're gearing up all their activities towards that with collective consciousness. And on this World Transformation Day, this is what even I would like to send out a message that if a unit like an organization can work with varying degrees, with varying departments together in synergy, in collaboration to work towards one objective. Imagine on the World Transformation Day, the whole world, the whole humanity coming together collectively, collaborating and cooperating for a single objective of bringing about transformation. It is something more akin on the lines of 30 or 35 years back. I'm reminded of the Live Aid show that we used to perform, that we have seen being performed. And it had mobilized, it had motivated thousands and thousands of people towards generously aiding towards the famine-stricken areas of Ethiopia. Wembley Stadium had organized a show wherein almost 72,000 people had attended. And similarly, there was another show that was held in Philadelphia, in New York, where almost 84 and above 1,000 people had come in and collectively, generously donated towards that. So it is the same kind of collective behavior and collaboration that we need over here to bring about a transformation amongst the mindset of people, amongst the lower class people, amongst the females, amongst the women folk all around for their upliftment. So with that, I come to end of my presentation, and you can connect with me on these various social media apps I'm available on. This is my official email ID. And I'm a proprietor of a firm called Mentis Academy, where I impart training in communication and insurance also. And I'm available on this YouTube channel. This is my YouTube channel address. I'm available on Instagram, my profile address, my Instagram page address, my LinkedIn address, Facebook page, Facebook profile is all available. And any one of you can connect with me on that. I'll be available, I'll be accessible.
Thank you so much, Reena ma'am. That was fantastic. Lovely hearing from you. And yes, as you said, communication is extremely important. Unless and until what we have communicated is the same thing that the receiver has received and understood, we shouldn't assume that the communication is complete. And that's extremely important in these times. Due to the pandemic, it's very difficult to assess what's happening on the other side. So we have to take that extra step to make sure that the communication is successful. And
Absolutely.
yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. It was a fantastic session. We've transformed in this particular section, and we would love to incorporate all the learnings in our day-to-day life. Thank you once again, ma'am.
Thank you, Krishnanjan. Thank you, Ina ma'am, also. And thank you, lovely audience, for bearing up
Welcome,
here
ma'am.
and then listening to what I have to say. And thank you once again. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Kushalji. Thank you, all the coordinators and the hosts over here for putting up a lovely show.
Thank you once again, ma'am.
Yes.
All right. Ina ma'am, shall I do the honor of introducing our next speaker?